I mean, it's just, you know.
Wow. 13 binders. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So
13 3-ring binder notebooks, and they're packed full.
Of?
It's like the hardcover part of the book is straight up.
For just the state, for just your home state, you collected and...
Yeah, just for Kentucky.
And copied. Okay, and then you found out?
Yeah. And then I found out about common law here back in September of last year, which made everything else pretty much obsolete. You know, the father made me go through all them years of learning my adversary and how they played their game when you can take a short detour on the common law. Common law is recognized by our Constitution. It is the highest court of the land in an Article 3 court of law. But what people don't know is you have to ask for an Article 3 court of law. Article 3.
So if you're going, wait, if you're in court,
Yeah.
and this is if you even don't have a lawyer, or if you do,
I would never hire a lawyer or an attorney, and there's a difference between the two. A lawyer studies the law, an attorney practices. And that is exactly what that means. Practices.
Wow. So wait, say that one more time. A lawyer, because I did not even...
A lawyer studies the law. He's not the one that's out there in the courtroom practicing it.
Sort of like the difference. Sort of like the difference between an optician and an ophthalmologist. It's a big difference.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
They study it, they write it, and all this kind of stuff. And an attorney practices law.
Okay.
An attorney does not always practice in every field. Let's say you got some that chose to do. They don't have specifics, is what I mean. They don't have, like, some deal with car wrecks and personal injury, some deal with workers' comp, some deals with malpractice, medical malpractice, or whatever. Attorneys also have to carry malpractice insurance, because if they cause their client injury, for let's say they're representing them and then all of a sudden they quit, that is a fraud. That never has the statute of limitation on it in fraud. There's never a statute of limitation on it. You could take their ass before a tribunal or whatever, 20 damn years later. Doesn't matter. But as far as common law, I know, as I said a while ago before we started taping, I know how to file motions and pleadings and informal paupers is where the poor people can have access to the courts without paying court costs. But you have to qualify for it. You have to send in your proof of income and all that bullshit. But I have learned over the years that these systems that set up across the country is nothing but a revenue service. And all of the attorneys that get their licenses from the Crown B of England, because that's where law originated, you see.
What'd you call her? The Crown B?
The Crown Bench.
Oh. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking B as in Bumblebee. Okay.
Yeah, they get their license. They, in fact, swear an oath to the Crown, whereby they are no longer really under the constitutional oath that they took, which makes them Class D felons under federal law.
And what did you say BAR stand? What did you tell me BAR stands for?
British Accredited Registry. BAR. British Accredited Registry. They're not even citizens of this country because they swore their oath to the Crown. That's a fact.
Incredible. Incredible little tidbit of info we should be aware of.
Yeah, now, let's say you're being sued. Turn it around. In an Article 3 common law court, you ask for an Article 3 common law court, and unlike a civil case or a criminal case, you have to be the plaintiff, not the defendant. See, I'm fixing to lay this on this guy that sued me for what he claims that I didn't pay him for work that he did. Well, the deal there is that I turn it around, I'm fixing to turn it around and make myself the plaintiff and sue him for what he stole from me. And that's called an amended response to his lawsuit against me in small claims court. Now, I've given him 2 chances to back off of me, and he didn't take them. So here we go with a full-fledged jury trial. I've already asked for the jury trial. I have to pay for that jury trial, but I'll be getting the money back when I win. And I know I will win. Because in a common law court case, where you represent yourself, because an attorney will not represent you in a common law court case. Because they're there to do for the Crown. You will never win a case with the Crown employee. Okay? They'll just, oh, well, sorry about your luck, you know? And then they walk away, and then you're left holding your papers in your hand.
Right, and they made...
What the hell just happened to me?
Right, and they got money.
So if you turn it around and make it a common law court case in Article 3 court, all your evidence is submitted with your claim, with your accusations against the other party, with your evidence. You're not in that courtroom when you go in there to be asked questions. And if the judge asks you a question, which he should stay out of it if you've got a jury, their mouth should be zipped up. Because they're just the overseer. They are not the 12-panel jury if you want a 12-panel jury, and I will pay for a 12-panel jury. Because of my disability, and I cannot personally, physically attend, it's going to have to be done by a computer or some shit, you know? And I get to ask all these jurors, do you have any family members that work for the court? Do you have any attorneys in your family? A lot of questions, you know, to be asked. And do you know who you are in this world? So it's incumbent upon the sheriff to find 12 jurors that know who the hell they are. Not subjects of the Crown. Alright? You know who you are. Now, some people want to call it sovereignty. Well, fuck that sovereignty shit. You use the laws against them because that's their laws. They're not your laws.
Right.
But you turn it around, use their laws against them because they're incumbent to obey those laws that they created.
You know who covers a lot of what... You know who covers a lot of what you're saying is sovereign living, all one word. He a lot of his are, well, a lot of his are, do you know who you are? But I think he's in Canada, but his
well, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
never mind, never mind.
I'm not the people in Canada telling me what my laws in this country are.
Well, we're tied in there, but...
Yeah, well, they say that we are. Yeah, Canada gave up its sovereignty as a country of its own to America several years ago. I know this to be a fact.
Wait, say that again?
Canadians hardly even know that.
Say that again?
Canada gave up its sovereignty to the United States back in, I think it was 2011. Might have been 2012. I don't really remember the date. But they didn't even tell their people. They just signed it away. That's why they're making Mexico, Canada, and America all one continent, and all the people of North America.
And have the Amero for our money, yeah. Well, the NAFTA.
Well, they've already got whatever currency they're going to pop on us. It's already been in the banks across this nation. So...
Well, he points out...
I don't know that much about that, other than I know that.
This sovereign living guy, he points out a lot of the judges are really, they're actually clerks, masquerading as a judge.
Well, you know, when you have a problem with judges and stuff, such as I have had, and filed a tort against one district judge and 2 circuit court judges, the court clerk, all these people in the court. It was kicked out for the judge, the federal judge, and I'm calling it frivolous. Why? Because he's keeping me from my due process of law. It isn't for him to say that, it's to go before a jury. And that issue has not been addressed yet because it broke my back. So I haven't addressed it yet. And there's no statute of limitations on fraud. Works for the Crown. So that the 200 and some odd attorneys I've sued, along with the county clerk, the county freaking sheriff, and everybody else. And this district court judge that this case on small claims has now been transferred actually swore out a freaking subpoena to try to drag me up in court. And I called him up. Of course, that video's up on YouTube. I don't know if I put it on private, though. I put some up on private. And, but he ended up just going by what the attorney was. He was helping his brother do it out, you know? An attorney said I did something, and he ends up swearing out a summons to have me brought into court. So, of course, I never went. They dropped the charges because the charges were false. But that makes a bias on him because he was already involved with me before. And he, in fact, did that paper telling me, you know, I was in the wrong and all this because I called the attorney. However, the attorney that represents a thief that stole over $2,000 of my money on a pool liner I purchased with him. Well, I was actually out $4,000 some odd dollars. And the judge that was over the case went to court, and they did not respond within the 30 days, or 20 days, 20 days, mandated time, according to their civil rules of procedure. They had 20 days to respond. They didn't respond until 65 days later. I moved to court to dismiss the case. As far as them, you know, what was it called? Hold up, what was I going to say? Default judgment. I should have got all of my money right then and there. And that judge was protecting the thief.
Okay, wait a minute.
And he refused me. He made an order and denied me.
Now, wait a minute.
That's unconscionable.
Yes.
You know?
Okay, now, what you're sharing is applicable to all of us, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's the point of this. Yes.
So you have to, now I'm suing him. And the court didn't follow their own laws, you know, which is pretty evident that, you know, they're all for the bad guy. You know, because the bad guy owns a business here in Owensboro. Two businesses, as a matter of fact, but he's a thief all the time. And so back to common law, when somebody sues you, then you turn it around and sue them back. That makes you the plaintiff. That's the only way common law can work, you see, is because you're the plaintiff. It does not work if you're the defendant. So, anyway, I've got a lot of work I've got to do to get this.
So you don't want to be wait, okay, just to repeat, you don't want to be the defendant.
No, you don't. Common law will not work if you're the defendant. You have to counterclaim. So when you get papers saying that you're the defendant in a case and you're wrongfully being sued, then you turn around and counterclaim them, a motion to counterclaim. And you list them as the defendant and you as the plaintiff. Alright? Because you cannot get an Article 3 court of law without it.
Now,
in the common law, you have to submit all your evidence, all your exhibits, everything about it. And when you go in a courtroom, you don't answer questions. You do not answer questions. You say, Your Honor, it's all in the paperwork. You don't have to talk. You can present it before a jury and everything, but the jury's not going to sit there and ask you questions. The judge should not and cannot answer or ask questions.
Right.
Because the answers and everything, you are the law in a common law court case. That is your truth. Alright? And you never swear an oath, because the Father says in His Word, you're not to swear an oath to no man. But they swore an oath to uphold that Constitution. So they have to abide by it. I wouldn't hold my right hand up and say, I'll tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. I'm not swearing on my Father's name. No, I'm not. You know, my truth is my truth.
Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay.
What?
Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay.
Yeah. Yes. That's right. Now, in the olden days, they used to have 100 jurors. Did you know that?
No.
And the reason why was because the opposing party could not buy off all 100 jurors.
That makes sense.
And now they sliced it down to 12, and in some instances, 6.
Yeah.
So the more the merrier. You heard of that term, right?
Right. 6 is the number you need to carry your coffin.
That's right. So, you know, a lot of these sayings are of ancient days and the things they've done. So, you know, and you can also sue your state. Why? Because the state, they work for the state. The state has the responsibility to make sure that these people that are supposed to work for you are doing their job. And when they're not, it puts the state up for grabs in a lawsuit. Because they're not mandating what they're supposed to be doing. They're not keeping the checks and balances, so to speak.
You know, I think a lot of people, myself included, would just feel too intimidated to try to, if we had to be in court and to sue, to be, you know, on our own.
Well, that's what they're counting on. You know, that's what they're counting on, banking on. That you're going to be so overwhelmed that you're just going to say, yes, sir, no, sir, and answer the freaking questions, and they keep the game going. You know? And you're thankful, you know, that, okay, I had a speeding ticket, and they're going to let me off from the $129 down to $20. But I got to pay that $20. You know? And they feel thankful because they're so scared. And let me tell you, folks, these people put their britches on one leg at a time, same as you do. They're just people. And why and how come they chose black as a role, but these judges end up, you know.
Yeah. Sovereign Living calls them, he said they're Satanists, and it's ecclesiastical and all that.
Yeah. Black. But let me tell you something. You go in there and say, forgive me, Your Honor, I made a mistake. Let me say that if they don't forgive you, they know full well what that means. Okay? Because if they don't forgive you your transgression, they know full well the laws.
And you know, it is ecclesiastical. Think of it. Penitentiary comes from the word penance. You pay a penance or you pay money.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if they don't forgive you your transgression, they will not be forgiven theirs. And believe me, all judges know this. You know? I don't address them as Your Honor. No. Why? They're a man. They're not to be honored. but they had that all suspicious name up in front of their name, don't they? Your Honor this, Your Honor that.
Right. You know, it's funny. When I went to traffic court, and it was for the licensing of my dog and something for having wildlife, there was at least 2 officers in the courtroom, and they were making sure that everybody was quiet, didn't talk, and no reading allowed. The rules in the courtroom: no reading, sit quietly.
Well, that's just that. Because you are the king, queen when you go in that courtroom. And they know that. That's enough for them to tell you can't. And they also say don't take tape recorders in there. Really? I personally know from first-hand experience they can tamper with theirs. I've had it done to me. But unbeknownst to them,